Welcome to Electricians Unfiltered. We do not have a guest, it's just us three tonight, and we're going to talk about whatever we want tonight. Craig, we're talking about your car earlier. Listen, have you seen Craig's car?
Oh man, I don't like this. I fucking don't
No,
like
come
it.
on, we've got to talk about this car.
No, because
Honestly, his car is sweet. He's got
What
a
car is it?
what car is it?
so it's an X5 hybrid.
He put,
So you know they
I
made them.
don't.
It's not long out. It's not long on the market. So it's
Someone's doing well.
no. See, so this is why I don't like this. It's actually saving me money. It is genuinely. It's saving me over £4,000 a year on company car tax.
But this is
Why?
important information.
And I got a truck for this reason.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
separate company vehicle because all I'm ended up doing is paying more tax. When you've got assets against the business, you've then got a
Exactly.
use of another vehicle and it also helps you out as well. So it makes, but like I spoke to my accountant about it all, and he was like, "This is the correct thing to do."
So
So,
there was a couple of cars that it could have ticked all the boxes. So it needed to be big, needed to tow. So there was the Tesla Model X, the X5 45E, or the new Merc GLE hybrid. They were all in a category where there was no company car tax or very little, like £160 for the BMW and the Merc, and nothing for the Tesla. All the other electric cars didn't have the right range and just didn't fit all the bills. So they were the three cars so I couldn't get one. And then all of a sudden, Arnold Clark, that NX5 came up with Arnold Clark and managed to get it. So the payments are a good few hundred a month, but I am paying no company car tax whatsoever. Where I was paying on my last car nearly £600 a month in company car tax
wow.
personally. So I am saving that by this vehicle. So it is
But
basically
it's lovely.
awesome, mate. It is
It
nice.
is lovely. It's a lovely vehicle to look at.
So I've put the kit on it. I've put the kit on it and wheels and stuff like that to make it look like one of my cars.
Nice.
A bit like yours, a bit. I mean, I've made it look like my car.
Yeah.
I want it.
That's what I did with the truck. I wanted to put some fatter tires on it. I wanted the Ford grill. I wanted to put the stuff in the back and put a piece of your own on it so it sort of matches my van a little bit. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Craig, I've got a question for you. Not many people know about your history. We'll glide over it a little bit. You spent some time in Afghan,
Yep.
not as a soldier, but as a private contractor, doing a number of different jobs, and we'll touch on that another time. What do you feel about the pullout in Afghanistan?
Do you know, like, it's horrible to see because there's individuals that are people that, like, it's their country and they want to live the way they are, and like the Afghanis don't want to be ruled by the Taliban, and but they also didn't want to be like dictated to by the Western countries. So if do you know, it's so difficult to talk about it because a lot of my friends are Afghan, they're Afghanis and
Yeah.
really, really nice people, and they're really nice people. And it's a shame what's going on. But at the same time, if you remember when we were at war there and we were here, like everybody in the UK wanted us out. Everybody in America kind of wanted us out. They said that we shouldn't be there. The Afghanis didn't want us there. And then when we have come out, we've left this bit of destruction now. And it's just really, really sad.
No, I was just interested to get your take on it because I know nothing about it, nothing at all.
Insane.
I'm not even going to offer an opinion.
So do you know the Taliban are getting money from other countries? Like that's the gist of it. There's the stuff in Afghanistan that I don't think any of us will understand, but there's like a lot of money there that's untouched.
Yeah, I have heard that like you've got the CIA on one side, you've got the Russians on one side,
And you've got China as well. China now
and
is
China just dropping mad money in there. And
yeah.
there's no one more powerful. Like you've got your America at the moment, but there's no one more
What's this
powerful
all
than
over?
China at the
Oil?
moment.
Is that what it is?
Well,
It's just oil there.
No, do you know what?
There's a lot of mineral in the ground. There's a lot of minerals
Yeah,
in the
like raw
ground.
materials,
Um,
lithium.
yeah, there's lots of minerals there, and basically the Afghans, a lot of them don't really know what they have, and they're fighting for their land. It's basically they're using religion to use it as a sheep mentality to keep everybody together. But the other countries are feeding the Taliban the money to basically take over. And once you take over, it'll be easy. I think it'll be easier for them or the so-called enemies to then reap the rewards. Where before it's been different.
It's crazy, and I don't want to get too deep into it. I just wondered what your take on it was. Now,
I just think it's very sad from being in that situation, being over there and seeing actual genuine people. Like it's not just Afghan people. There's a lot of British people there that are maybe Afghan, like were Afghan. They're now British. They've went over to see people and they're stuck there. Like you can't just get a flight home. You can't.
no,
And I mean, imagine right now that something like terrorist or an organisation was sweeping through your village and you're trying to get out the other end and there's nowhere to go. Like, how would it feel? Like, and it's not just that, it's 50 degrees heat there with no running cold water. There's no shops open. Nobody's going to work to get fuel, to make sure there's fuel in petrol stations, to make sure there's food, to make sure the farms are done. Everyone's fleeing. It's hot. See, when you see it, see when you're actual in that situation, you see it, it is horrible. Like, it is actual horrible. People talk about having anxiety and stress and worry. But imagine taking everything that you have away from you and literally you are there with nothing at all.
Just
trying to imagine that.
The desperation of the mother chucking her baby over the barbed wire fence to get to the troops.
I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up. That's too much for me. I can't talk about it.
It was just, and I saw that, and I didn't want to read too much into it because she is that terrified not only for her life and the baby, but she's willing just to do that in hopes that her child can have a better life. It's heartbreaking.
That is the thing. Is like, we'll never understand. I mean, even though I've been there, I don't really understand what it's all about. Like, there's so many conspiracies, there's so many things back and forward. That it's just sad that we're using people's lives to try and.
It's all about money. It's all about money. The whole world's all about money and all these things that happen, and it's just sad, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad. Now, not to make light of that or anything, I want to move on from it because it's such a heavy subject, and I don't want to bring you guys down or anything like that. But it's really interesting to have your opinion, Craig, because you're quite a rare person in terms of being out there. You're probably less than, I don't know, 100,000 in this country that have been to Afghan and done what you've done. It's a subject that I wanted to get your opinion on, but I
don't want to delve too deep into it.
Yeah, no, because it's so.
The thing is, you don't know. I mean, this has just come out of the blue. It's not that it's come out of the blue; it's been manifesting, but it's a bit of a shock how quickly it's happening. If that makes sense.
I think they've ballsed it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on swiftly in the nicest possible way, Nick.
Yes.
Why are you sitting there like you're all bust up?
His back, so
I've done my back in.
Go on, let's explain the back situation.
There's not a lot to tell. I was hammering some posts in to connect to a temporary outside socket and just jarred my back. It goes once a year and it's the worst one ever. I went to the doctors the next day, which I've never done before. With their office, like, you have to, because I couldn't walk. Adam had to like pretty much take everything to the van, and I had to like sit hunched over, drive all the way home, and it was about an hour on the way home. Got in almost to the point where I couldn't look up, lay in bed, painkillered up, and then I had to go to doctors the next day, and told us I have a month off work, no rest. But obviously I was on holiday the next day, so I thought, oh, that's all right, then I'll just chill out. And it's now been 2.5 weeks, and I'm in exactly the amount of pain that I was the day it happened.
Do you know what's funny though? Is when you're talking, I can hear when you're moving slightly, and you're going.
Mate, and my painkillers are wearing off constantly. Like, I went to work today, but I didn't take anything other than paracetamol to drive, because after the stuff I'm on, you're not allowed to drive with.
No.
Are they saying it's muscle, or is it saying it's like
They said I tore the muscle. They said I tore the muscle that's joined to the bottom half left of my spine. But I've pulled muscles and torn muscles and played rugby and gone to the gym my entire life.
Yeah.
And a pulled muscle for me, if I severely pulled it, a week and a half, I'm all
Yeah,
right.
a few
I'm
days
getting
you feel
there.
it better, yeah.
But this is just something else to the point where I even struggle like sitting down and going to the toilet. I can't even wash my feet in the shower. I can't lift my feet up. And it's just now to the point like I've got physio tomorrow for the first time ever, but I don't know what they're going to make me do. Oh, can you do this exercise? No, I
Yeah.
can't. Oh, can you
Now,
do this stretch? No, I can't.
so believe
So
it
I
or
don't know where
not,
to go with it.
so a long time ago, now it's come out since that chiropractic is complete nonsense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
uh, years ago, when I was in great shape, not like I am now, fat and useless, but I was in great shape at one point, and I was really into squats. And what I'd done is I pulled my back so bad that it would be half okay to walk around, but then suddenly I would take too much of a step.
Hmm.
Bam! It'd be like lightning strike down my back, into the bottom of my back, and I'd fall on the floor. And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm on the floor. Help me up." Anyway, it was so bad. I booked an appointment at a chiropractor. I didn't know any better, and I went down there, and I hobbled in. Like I got in there, and he punched about with my back, clicked it, bop, 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 bop. And before I knew it, I walked out and I was like, I'm actually sweet.
Hmm.
Have you
So you've
thought
never
about
gone
that?
to a yeah, no. One thing I don't want to make it worse, but
Yeah.
my other half's convinced it's either a trapped nerve or I think I might end up having to go for a MRI just in case I've slipped a disc and the
That's
doctor
what I
just
think.
thinks it's a muscle.
I remember somebody telling us is like your spine is like this, but there's like wee rubber bits in between it. And sometimes they move, so then it's just bone to bone, and that's just
Yeah.
like severe
It's
pain.
just agony. I can take pain. I've always been all right with it, but it's come to the point now where sitting down like this is killing me because all I'm doing as I'm sitting down, I'm putting pressure in the bottom of my spine where it hurts the most. If I'm stood up, I'm all right. Or if I'm leaning forward and taking the weight off my back, I'm all right. If I'm lying down, I sort of bring, when you bring your knees up in bed and it takes the arch out your back,
Yeah.
Yeah,
fine. The moment I sit like this, the weight is then compressing round the back. And I could sit it. Early on, I got back from work and I sat down because driving to Dave's house is an hour and 50 minutes. Get out the van. I could have just cried as I walked in the house. I was just like, I just wanted to stop. And now, really, we're at work this week, but it's all tiny, pilly little jobs that Adam's just going to be doing. And I'm just going to be stood on his shoulder. And then I'm meant to be starting to rewire next week. And I think I'm going to have to cancel it. I just can't do anything.
this is how I feel. Sometimes it's bad when I was self-employed and you really unwell. Like sorry having a cold, but see if you really damaged your knee or something, like your income, your snooker, aren't you really? Like unless you've got money ticking over, and this is what your clients
Yeah.
realise that why instead of being like £25 an hour, you're 35. But like you've got to cover your all this if something goes wrong. Do you know what I mean?
And this is what I've done. I filmed a video before when on holiday, talking about it when it was still fresh and I was still pain, like a lot of pain just from sitting or standing or anything. Talking about it, I've got insurances, but they don't cook in. You have to be off work for more than a
For
month.
3 months.
And you do.
It's 3 months, is it not, till it kicks
Oh,
in?
I think my one's just the one I pay for was 1 month,
One
but
month.
even that, it's a month's wages gone, and I'm financially stable. If I have to have a month of work, it's fine. It is what it is. I've got to pay Adam's wages. It is what it is. But you can see this where it turns from, oh, it's just a month off work and me going, I'll go back to work after 2 weeks, it'll be fine, to then do more damage. Or let's say I've done a disc in, and you could be off work for 8 months,
I know.
like properly. Like, and I'm heavy. I know I am. I'm nearly 18 stone now. I'm a big guy, but it's a lot of weight on your muscle that you've pulled out. And the annoying thing was I didn't even pick anything up. It was literally a lump hammer and a piece of wood doing that. And it's horrible. I
But
wouldn't wish this on anyone.
These are very real problems that self-employed small company sparks will come across, like
Yeah.
injuring yourself, which means that you can't continue jobs that you've got your apprentices on.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
The only bonus I've got is because I can still drive as long as I don't take all the meds, and I can still supervise. Adam's more capable of doing everything I can do now. I
Yeah.
can just stand there in the background with my iPad and watch and film. And that's what I'm doing on Wednesday. We're doing it in the ICR. He's going to be using the new TIS Pro. I'm just going to sit in the background, record, and have a bit of a chat with him. Simple as that. Go home and sod all that day, really, for what we're going to do. But I think I'd be even worse, like I said it on the podcast earlier, if I was sat at home doing nothing. I think my back would still hurt, but mentally I'd start degrading as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't do me a world of good. It wouldn't do me any good.
The worst thing I can do is have too long off work before I
Yeah.
start becoming a absolute div.
Yeah. You just lose all momentum, don't you?
You do. Do you know that's the biggest thing during lockdown? Going into lockdown, I had so much momentum, and then lockdown completely took it away. And I think that was
Suck the life out of you towards the end.
Yeah.
Do you know? I don't want to talk too much, not about it, but I lost a wee bit of momentum at the start of lockdown, and then I totally changed my mindset and went, I'm going to push really, really big, because I thought there's going to be opportunities that people are not going to go out. You're going to push on the marketing to go after what we want to do.
I tried, and do you know what? For what I was doing, I missed the mark. I really did. I really had such a lockdown.
But I think
was
but
bad.
the commercial industrial took a big downturn, where domestic took a massive increase.
Do you know what? You're not wrong when you say that, because a lot of people in the domestic sector, they were booming. Like Nick, you had
we were so busy
after the
first
6
lockdown.
weeks.
But I've took a pure lull now, because we were so rammed right through, and now everything's opened again. We can't handle what's hit in front of us, and we've got vans breaking down. We've got people going off on holiday now. We've got people off on sick. I'm now hitting challenges that weren't challenges through COVID. COVID was easier for us than what it is now.
I think it was easier in some respects and harder in other respects.
Yeah, total different.
Certainly for like your domestic sparks, that everyone that I know who was a domestic spark done really well during COVID.
Yeah,
because they was just getting like
people had money to spend.
Yeah,
they couldn't go on holiday. They had all the money.
Kitchens needing done, bathrooms.
That holiday money was being spent on doing up houses.
Yeah,
and
buying property. People were buying rental properties with their money. Rent out.
And then you had like the commercial and industrial sector was ticking over, but it wasn't doing great. So the money weren't great, the work wasn't great, and the conditions weren't. But for me personally, going into lockdown, I had some mad momentum on other stuff.
Yeah.
And then actually what happened was that momentum completely died off, and all I could rely on was my commercial and industrial stuff. And that was rough. It was rough.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome to the Downer podcast. On the upside, we're going to finish now. Monday Club Unfiltered. We're out.